So students, in this video you're going to study what is meant by canonical cover or minimal cover or irreducible set of functional dependencies. Now all of them mean the same thing. So in the exams, if you ask for canonical cover also, you will solve in the same way. In the minimal cover also you asked, or irreducible set. Okay, you're going to solve in the same manner. So basically, what's the definition of minimal set of functional dependencies? A set of functional dependencies is minimal if it satisfies the following conditions. The first condition: every dependency in F has a single attribute for its right hand side. Okay. Second, we cannot remove any dependency from F and have a set of dependencies that is equivalent to F. Third condition, we cannot replace any dependency X determines A in F with a dependency Y determines A, where Y is a proper subset of X. Okay, or Y could be a means in other words, Y is a subset of X, and still have a set of dependencies that is equivalent to F. Now all this we will see with an example. Okay, so basically every set of functional dependencies has an equivalent minimal set. Okay, there can be several equivalent minimal sets. There is no simple algorithm for computing a minimal set of functional dependencies that is equivalent to a set F of functional dependencies. Okay, in the book there are some algorithms that are given with respect to that, but we will not be going through the algorithms. Okay, so basically, in simple words, the definition that was given is, if you are told to find what is canonical cover or minimal cover, okay, then in simple words, given a set F of functional dependencies, then we can say F dash is canonical cover of F if F dash don't have, first one, extraneous attribute or redundant attribute, and second one, redundant functional dependencies. Okay, so this is a more simpler definition of what is the canonical cover or the minimal cover. Okay, so we'll follow this definition and try to see a problem and try to find a canonical cover. Okay, so basically these are the steps that you're going to apply. Okay, so step 1, to find out the canonical cover. Step 1, you are going to apply mostly the splitting rule. Okay, most of the times in step 1, so that every functional dependency right hand side has only one attribute. Okay, and in step 2, you will try to remove extraneous attribute if any. In the third step, you will try to remove redundant attributes. Okay, redundant functional dependencies actually. Okay, so it's redundant functional dependencies or redundant attributes. So we'll see how to apply these steps with the problem. So suppose you're given a problem, find a canonical cover for the following, and you're given a set of functional dependencies. Okay, like we have seen here, a set of F containing these functional dependencies, and you're told to find the canonical cover. So we'll start by applying the first step. Okay, so you're going to apply the decomposition or the splitting rules, and these are the same splitting rules that we have already studied. Okay, as Armstrong's axioms or the inference rules. So you apply that rule. Okay, and identify all the functional dependencies that you can split. Okay, so for example here, that is one that you can split. Okay, so whichever ones you can split, you split. Okay, so here you can see. Okay, the first functional dependency that we split is this one. C determines AB. Okay, so you can see here, you can split it as C determines A, C determines B, applying the splitting rule. Okay, the second one that you can split is this one. We can get ABC determines A or ABC determines C. Okay, by applying the splitting rule. Rest of the functional dependencies, you write them as it is. So we have just applied splitting rule only here. Okay. The remaining ones, you write them as it is. All the ones are all the remaining. Okay. So after applying the splitting rule, then write down all the functional dependencies having only one attribute on the left hand side. Okay. Just copy them. Okay. So you are going to have C determines A, C determines B, B determines C, and A determines C. Now you're going to remove trivial functional dependencies. If you remember when I was teaching you functional dependencies in the video that we have learned on functional dependencies, trivial functional dependencies means something like this. A determines A. Okay. This right hand side is the subset of here. Okay. Or you could have had something like this. AB determines B. Okay. So this is a subset of this. The right hand side is a subset of the left hand side. Okay. One more example could be something like this. So you need to remove any trivial, so something like this. Okay, this is a subset of the. So these all trivial functional dependencies, if any, you need to remove. Okay, so you can see here there are two trivial functional dependencies here that we had obtained after applying the splitting rule. Okay, so we had said ABC determines A. So this is a subset. A is a subset here, trivial functional dependency. Similarly, this is a subset, trivial functional dependencies. So remove this. Okay, no other functional dependency is a trivial functional dependency. Okay, so when you apply both the steps together, you will get something like this. Okay, so we are removing all the trivial functional dependencies, and also we are writing all the remaining FDs. So when you apply all the steps from this box, okay, we will get something like this. So basically, after applying the splitting rule, okay, instead of doing this step, you can directly just remove the trivial functional dependencies. Okay, remove them. Once you remove them, all the remaining FDs, when you copy, you will get something like this. Okay, so this is your basically how you apply your step 1. Okay, splitting rule, and then remove the trivial functional dependencies. So this is what we have got till now in step 1. Okay, now step 2, you try to remove the extraneous attributes. Okay, so for example, you are having B determines C. Okay, and you are given that AB determines C. Okay, you are having both of this. Now, since we are having B determines C, okay, B alone is enough to determine C. Okay, so therefore we don't need A to determine C. We don't need this A. Okay, so therefore we can discard A from this, and we will get B determines C. Okay, okay, I'm making use of both of this. Since alone B can determine C, we can discard A from this. Okay, and we will get B determines C. We don't need a combination of A, B to determine C. Okay, because alone B is sufficient to determine C. So when we discard A from here, we get B determines C. Okay, similar way, you can consider this too. AC and A determines C and AC determines B. Okay, using the same logic, since alone A is sufficient, okay, to determine C, okay, so we can remove C from here. Okay, we don't need this C. We don't need C. We can remove C from there and we can get A determines B. Okay. So therefore, removing these extraneous attributes, we will get, okay, I'm replacing AB determines C with B determines C here, and AC determines B with A determines B. Okay, all the remaining attributes I copy as they are. So therefore I get this. Okay, now you could have applied the rules in some other way. Okay, I have applied the rules in this manner. You could have applied some other rules, okay, and got different answer. Okay, so by applying the rules in a different manner, you would have got some different answer. Okay, and then maybe you would have got here a different output. So it's possible like that. The answer to that is yes. You could apply the rules in a different way and get a different answer. So remember, whenever you're finding the canonical cover, you need not all of you get the same answer. Okay, depending on how you're applying the steps, you may get different answers, and that all those answers may be correct. Okay, just remember that. Now another thing that you may think that every time when we are applying step 1 and 2, we should be getting single attributes, okay, on the left hand side. So it's not that you should be getting single attributes on the left hand side. Here we got, it does not mean that you need to get it. Okay, so go to the third step. Okay, now you can see here the output of the second step, B determines C was repeated twice. Okay, so something like this, when you find, you remove one. Okay, you don't need one of them. Okay, you don't need a repetition, so you can remove one. Okay, any one you can remove. So after removing one, you write down all the remaining. Okay, so you will get something like this. Okay, so remove any one occurrence. Now let's try to remove the redundant attributes or the redundant functional dependencies. So how you do that? So how to claim that any of these functional dependencies is redundant? Okay, suppose you want to say that C determines A is redundant. Okay, so after discarding it, okay, I've underlined the word after. It's very important. After, so it should still exist indirectly in the remaining functional dependencies. Okay, so the remaining functional dependencies are this: C determines B, B determines. So when you remove this, okay, let me just do it again. So when you remove C determines A, it should still be present indirectly in the remaining functional dependencies. Okay, the same ones I've written here, these ones. So to find that it exists indirectly, you need to find the C closure. Okay, so you need to find the C closure from these functional dependencies. So we find the C closure, and if in the C closure A exists, okay, then we can claim that C determines A exists indirectly and is therefore redundant. Okay, therefore find C closure from this remaining FDs after discarding C determines A. So the C closure is giving you C and B. It does not give you A. Okay, it does not give you A. So therefore, since attribute A is not present in this closure, okay, why we are checking attribute A? Because we are saying C determines A. Okay, so since attribute A is not present in this closure, therefore C determines A is not redundant. So we cannot discard it. Okay, we cannot discard it. This FD cannot be discarded as redundant. Okay, now you check for the other FDs. So take the second FD. Okay, C determines B. Need to apply the same steps. Okay, so we have already checked for this one. We cannot discard it. Take the next FD. So after discarding this, from the remaining FDs, you need to find whether it exists indirectly. Okay, so let's do that. So to do that, I find out C closure. Okay, take the left hand side. So of that we are finding the C closure from the remaining FDs. So we are removing this, and from the remaining FDs, these are the remaining FDs from here. Okay, remaining FDs from here. From this you find out C closure. Okay, and if in the C closure B is present, then we will claim that it is redundant. Okay, so let's see C closure. So in C closure, from these FDs you get C, you get A, okay, and using the transitivity rule, C determines A determines B, therefore C determines B. Okay, now you can see that B exists in this closure. Okay, so therefore we can claim that this C determines B attribute or this functional dependency is existing indirectly in this FDs, the remaining FDs, and therefore is redundant. Okay, so therefore we can discard this from this set of functional dependencies. So after discarding, okay, I'm discarding this C determines B. After discarding, I write all the remaining FDs. So I get C determines A, B determines C, A determines C, and A determines B. Okay. So now check the next functional dependency. So like that you need to check for all the functional dependencies. Okay. Take the next functional dependency. So now you consider this. Okay. Don't look at this now. Take this for the next functional dependency, that is to check whether B determines C is redundant. Okay. So follow the same steps. So from B determines C, you have to check whether it's redundant by considering the other remaining functional dependencies. Okay. So to do that, find a B closure from the remaining FDs. Okay. So the B closure, if in the B closure C is existing, okay, then we will claim that B determines C is existing indirectly in this remaining FDs and is therefore redundant. So in the B closure, you can find that you get B only, okay, you don't get C. So therefore, B determines C functional dependency is not redundant. Okay, is not redundant. Therefore, we cannot discard it. Okay, so we have checked. Now C determines A, we had already checked. B determines C, we just checked. We cannot discard it. Now check the next one. A determines C. Okay, so A determines C. Again, check whether it is present in the remaining FDs after discarding A determines C. Okay, remove this, and in the remaining FDs, it should be present. So to check that, you find A closure. In that A closure, C should be present. Then we claim that this FD is redundant. Otherwise, it is not redundant. Okay. So when you find A closure from this remaining FDs, you will get A, B, C. Okay, you can check for that. And since C is present, we will claim that A determines C is redundant. So because it is redundant, you will discard this. So only three functional dependencies will remain. C determines A, B determines C, and A determines B. So the first two we have already checked. Only check whether this is redundant or not. Okay, that we will check in the next slide. Now check whether A determines B is redundant. So check whether it's redundant by finding A closure from the remaining FDs. The remaining FDs are C determines A and B determines C. So in A closure, if B is present, attribute B is present, then this FD A determines B is redundant. So in A closure, you can find only A using this FDs. Okay. So therefore, A determines B is not redundant. So therefore, this is the final set of functional dependencies. Okay. We cannot reduce it further. We cannot discard anything further. Therefore, the canonical cover f dash of f is this. C determines A, B determines C, or A determines B. Similar way, if you were told to find a minimal cover, also you would have found the same answer, and the irreducible set also you would have found the same answer. Okay, so basically all of them are the same. So this is how you would found out the canonical cover f dash of the set F.